Hello everybody and welcome back to my weekly segment where we review the latest Legend of Korra episode. Today is episode 3 entitled The Coronation, and I'd have to say just general thoughts, another very, very solid episode. I don't think as good as the last two, but it definitely was a good episode. I had one, not a major gripe, but one kind of gripe that I'll talk about, but let's just get into things. I guess we could begin with Prince Wu. I really like this character. He brings a sense of both comedy and also tragedy at the same time that I don't think Korra has adequately done in a long time, if at all. You know, you have the comedic elements of him being a spoiled prince, but then once Kuvira overthrows him and becomes the leader, I really like the realization that he has when he's sitting in the restaurant, which it's kind of funny they turned the palace into a restaurant. But when he's sitting in the restaurant after Mako tells him, look, if you were a citizen, would you want you to be the leader? And then he's kind of like, wow, no one's ever said that to me before. I like that tragedy. So I like the combination of the comedy and the tragedy together. I feel like this is a character that can grow if they want to actually make him more important. Because right now he doesn't serve that big of a purpose. He kind of was just he was more of just a device to progress the story to get to this point, because let's be honest, I don't know a single person who believed that Kuvira was going to give up power when the coronation was supposed to happen. So, like I said on my notes, I quoted what he said. He said, well, she'll be stepping down tomorrow, and my note was right, President. Right. So I guess let's do it in segments this time instead of in order. We'll do Toph at the end. I really like that Eska and Desna are back. I love their creepiness that they add. It's not even, I guess you could say it's comedy, but it's a different kind of comedy. Like I said, it's creepiness, so I really like them. Eska making Desna sleep in the tub I thought was kind of funny. The coronation itself is a perfect way for them to bring all of the big important characters to one place at one time. That ain't a bad thing. I really like it. We get to see the Fire Lord for the first time, although we don't hear her talk. We don't see her do anything. So that's a little bit disappointing. I know not every character needs to have some grand introduction, but I don't know. For some reason, to me, I just kind of was like, I was waiting for the pop that was the introduction of the Fire Lord. I guess I didn't think she would be as old as she is, although that's my fault, because I guess she would be on par with the ages of Tenzin and, Aang's other children. But I don't know. I expected her to be a little bit more fiery. But then, well, I guess we don't know because she did literally nothing but sit there and we see her for 2 seconds. So let's take a look at my notes. My note for when she announced that she was taking control was no surprise there at all. I'm pretty sure everybody and their mother saw Kuvira taking control. So again, there's nothing much you can say from there, but other than, well, that was obviously going to happen. And even though I did complain about the show in the last season doing the obvious route, and I'm actually going to bring this up and a criticism like right after this, but in this specific case, I felt like it was so obvious, so obvious that I don't really have a problem with it. And I guess maybe it's because I still like Kuvira as a character. I'm really excited to see where it goes next. So I didn't really have a problem with it. I love the confrontation between Suyin and Kuvira. The family drama this season is already fantastic. I can't wait to see the inevitable Beifongs versus Kuvira. I'm going to call it now. Suyin and all of her family is going to help take down Kuvira, who inevitably goes evil. And Suyin is going to become the new leader of the Earth Kingdom, or I guess the Earth Empire now is what it is. So that's my prediction. Let's see, my next note, the Royal Palace has been turned into a restaurant. I already mentioned that. I thought that was great. I really am intrigued with Varric's machine that we see at the very end. It's obviously using part of the spirit world because they take the spirit roots of the tree. I don't know what it could be, but maybe I don't know. But I'm very intrigued to see what it does. My first immediate thought was Kuvira's preparing a weapon to fight the Avatar with, because the Avatar is going to come back. Korra is going to come back and be like, what is this shit? Like, you can't be doing this. So yeah, I'm very intrigued to see where that goes. I forgot kind of a thing I was I just mentioned I was going to talk about, but the only gripe I really had this episode was the Bolin and Mako split. Not them as characters, because I still think they're fine as characters. I don't find either of them annoying yet. But I think the split between the brothers on each side was obvious, and I don't like that kind of obvious. Like, I saw that coming from a mile away. I saw a ton of people talking about that, like episode 1 last week. And I tweeted about this, and I said, so I guess Bolin's going to be taking over Korra's role of serving the immoral leader until the very last minute when he finally realizes she's bad and then turns on her. Because I can't tell. When all of these people that Bolin was like friends and allies with for so long are all like, look, you know, she's a bad guy, especially his brother. Like, look, she's doing like bad things. She's becoming a dictator. Why are you with her? He sides with her instead of everybody else. That's a little bit unbelievable to me, at least for that character and in the scenario. I could see maybe if, you know, they were estranged brothers and they never met or they barely knew each other and he never had any contact with, like, Tenzin or Zuko or anybody else. But he has, like, a repertoire with all of the people. And it's not shown in the episode, but Bolin's got to know, nobody is happy with what she's doing. So it's just, I thought that was kind of ridiculous that he sides with her just because she kind of, like, threatens. She doesn't threaten him, but she's, like, intimidating him a little bit, like, without actually using the words. Like, intimidates him into agreeing with her. But once he got away from her, I don't find it realistic that he would side with her over everybody else. That's pretty much my only gripe. The only thing that I think is keeping it from being amazing, like last episode, is that one aspect. But, you know, that's, again, a very subjective thing. I know some people might not agree. I'm sure I'll hear about it if they don't. But I still think the episode was very great. We can get to Korra and Toph now. They are just... Toph is awesome. I love that the first thing Toph says is to tell Korra to get over herself. That's so in line with her character. It's so great. They nailed an old woman Toph. Like, they nailed it. I mentioned this last week. I feel like Zuko is, like, an entirely different character as an old man. Katara's kind of, like, in the middle. But Toph, they just nailed her as a character. As a young girl, as an old woman, they feel like the exact same character. I love them. All of my notes are basically totally useless for me now that I'm making this video, because they're pretty much just like, yeah, old woman Toph still has it, because she's kicking Korra's ass when they fight. And then my next note was, so basically Toph can sense, like, everything literally in the world at this point. So it's even though that's kind of ridiculous, it sounds good to me. I'm fine with it. Go for it. Toph becomes God, you know, whatever. That's fine. Cool. I thought that was cool. It seems like they're going to be leaning toward her not wanting to leave the swamp, which is a real bummer for me. You know, we haven't gotten there yet. We haven't gotten to where Korra has left and Toph stays there. Just based on how things played out this episode, it seems like that's what's going to happen. I am disappointed if it goes that way, because I want to see her participate in the world. I want to see the interaction between her children and her if she came back. I think that'd be great. So, you know, I can't criticize the show for something that it hasn't done yet, but it seems like they're going that way, and I'm not a fan of it, but I guess we'll see what happens. Also, I guess I'm glad we now know, although we still don't know what's entirely Korra's problem, we know now that there's still some metal in her body, and I guess that's not helping her become an avatar, or go into avatar state. But it seems like there's also a spiritual component. Toph pretty much calls it out, like, right when she tries to draw the metal out. You know, she doesn't want to become the Avatar again or get better, so she doesn't have to deal with all this stuff. Because we keep seeing the attempt where Zahir tries to kill her by suffocating her every time this kind of thing happens, where she tries to get better and that one image comes back. So I think Toph nailed it. You know, the first season kind of established she's really good at reading people. Even as blind, that's kind of like the, you know, not the joke, but the point that even though she's blind, she can see better than everybody else. She can tell when people are lying. She can tell, like, their intimate character flaws and positives. So I think she's right. You know, I think she's dead on with her analysis of Korra. And I'm kind of curious to if all the poison is drawn out of her, would she still not be able to become Avatar state? Because I think probably she wouldn't be able to. So then there's the whole thing with the spirit version of Korra that we see. So is that supposed to be her Avatar spirit that can't come back into her body because of the poison? And if that's true, then how is they both existing at the same time anyway? So I guess we'll have to wait to learn more. This is another story thread that I'm very intrigued to continue to partake in. I like it. I don't have any major gripes with this episode. You know, Howie tweeted at me. I don't remember his exact tweet. I don't have my Twitter up. Oh yeah, I do. He said, "I've got high hopes for this season so far. I'm so scared it's going to turn bad." I think that's a perfect sentiment. I agree entirely with that statement. You know, I think this. If we just keep going, if they just keep going at this level and try to stick, they might like waver a little bit. But if they keep trying to go at this level, I feel like this could be the best season. And you know, being the final season can't help being the best season. That'd be great if those two happen at the same time. But who knows? So that's it. That's episode 3. I was gonna make a note on my list, but I forgot, which is kind of ironic based on the point I'm just about to make. I can tell when I like something when my list of notes starts out and then I get like halfway done and I just kind of just not make anymore because I'm paying attention to the show. Like that's how I can tell I'm invested into the story. There's so many things happening at once that I really like what's going on, and I kind of just forget to write notes down. So that's what happened today, and that's what happened last week. I actually went back and watched both episodes twice before I recorded. This time I only watched it once, and I thought it was pretty funny that I didn't. Half of my notes are kind of just were like ad-libbed. So, you know, the show's keeping me interested. I think it's very, very good. I think they so delivered on Toph. They did it perfectly. And I just hope that they don't mess it up. So there we go. That's episode 3, guys. Thanks for watching. Leave any comments you have or questions or anything in the comments below, and I'll be sure to at least address them if I can. So, thanks. I'll see you next week for episode 4. Since I don't watch my episodes actually on the Nick player because it sucks, like, terribly, to where I have to go to other websites to watch it. Oops, that's illegal, but I can't help it that your web player sucks, Nick. I didn't see the preview, so I don't really know what's going to happen. But I guess we'll see episode 4, whatever it is, next week. So thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you then. Farewell.